Welcome everyone to the Whittier Regional Vocational Technical High School School Committee. This is the public hearing for the proposed annual budget for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023. Is there any public comment? None being heard. We need a motion to adopt the FY23 budget. We'll close the public hearing. We need a motion to close the public hearing. Okay. Roll call vote. Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. LaBella.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay. We need a motion to adopt the FY23 budget in the amount of $28,343,000, 918.
So moved. Second.
All right. Any questions, comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. LaBella.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Mrs. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We need a motion to approve a capital assessment to the communities in the amount of $695,000.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. LaBella.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. We need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Roll call vote. Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. LaBella.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We're going to move into our school committee meeting. Wednesday, April 23rd, school committee meeting. On February 12th, 2022, Governor Baker signed into law an act extending the certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency. This includes an extension until July 15th, 2022 of the remote meeting provisions. Per Governor Baker's extension, the public will not be allowed to physically access the school committee meeting. This meeting will be conducted hybrid. Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment. Comments can be emailed in advance of the 6:30 PM start time to lran@whittier.tech.ma.us. All comments will be recorded to the record, and all attempts will be made to mention them live during the meeting. Any emails received during the meeting will be mentioned at the following meeting. Is there any public comment? None being heard. We'll move on. Approval of minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
move the approval of March 9th, 22 budget workshop minutes.
Second.
Okay. Questions, comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. LaBella.
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving.
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland.
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde. Okay. March 9th minutes of the regular school committee meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Second. Questions or comments? Roll call vote. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Havlin,
Yes.
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Abstain.
Treasurer's report. To a motion to accept.
Move to accept.
Second.
Any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Roll call vote. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Havlin,
Yes.
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Thank you. Old business, school committee self-evaluation. We had 12 replies, responses, school committee self-evaluation. Do we want to go through this page by page, or do we want to go to approve? How do we want? Okay. Does anybody have questions or comments on this? Mr. Bella.
I noticed on all of the categories that they were very favorable.
Yes.
And but there was one category where on the new members received introductory training and orientation, there were a few that probably didn't get the training they needed. Can we correct that?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it, we have new members that with COVID.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Set things a little bit behind, but
Yeah. so we can
Um,
catch them right
certainly.
up. Yeah.
yes.
Because do they still do, what's it, the charity?
MASS is supposed to go through that
Yeah.
program. So that's something, again, we'll
What was the name of that course?
charting the course.
Charting the course. That's right.
Mhm.
I think a lot of that had to do with the COVID the past
Yeah.
couple of years.
For sure.
I think I recently saw too that they could have one in Danvers sometime this spring, which I think is the closest.
They usually spread them out in the course of the year,
Yeah.
the various segments.
Well, I think what was helpful too was in the fall, at the MASS conference, they would have the charting the course and then have
Right.
some things for new members. So we'll certainly catch people up for sure.
Well,
Yeah, I think some of the questions too that that might have had a less than a favorable might have been from maybe some of the newer people that just didn't understand that we had a mission statement or this or that. So they didn't vote it that high. So I think we should receive it for the files and just review it occasionally, maybe prior to next year.
I agree there.
all right, yes, Mr.
Because
LaBella.
I was just wondering, I remember, I don't know, it was 3 or 4 years ago, what, there was an ethics course that all members had to take
Every 2 years.
it's every 2 years. I think that's mandatory, right,
For teachers as well.
as well.
Mm.
Thank you.
So maybe we'll hear something from MASC about
Yeah,
upcoming.
Lisa and I will look into MASS when the next chart.
Each one of their bulletins they send out, usually in the back, they have the next 1 or 2 scheduled events for training.
Anybody else have, Mrs. True?
I just want to tell, Mr. Irving, I have not received that in a while, and I was just wondering, you're still receiving it?
Yes, I received one the other day.
So I think I remember getting them at the meeting, but not actually having them mailed to my home.
No.
Is that,
I'm not sure, do other members get the,
I get it.
I know
Yeah.
they're talking about on,
Yeah.
Day on the Hill and so on coming up, so.
I received one in the mail, but mine's still coming under my name, but as Pentucket. and I'm not serving on Pentucket. So I'm wondering if it's just going to like people that were previous chairs.
Perhaps.
We'll get in touch with
Oh.
MASs and find out what's going on, make sure every member gets the bulletin.
In fact, I recently got two very quickly. I got one, I think this week, and I got one maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
From MAS. Let's see.
I thought they were going to totally disregard paper and we're going to be just getting them online now. Is anybody else under that impression?
That may be it. It might just be like that they're sending an email.
I don't receive anything via email.
Oh, okay.
Let
But then
Lisa and
again,
I
I don't have a Pentucket email address anymore either.
let Lisa and I take a look at that and call MASs and find out what's going on.
Yeah, list the roster of the committee members would be good.
Okay, thank you, Lisa, in your spare time.
And I don't know if we need to formally do it, but I'd move to receive this report for the files.
Second,
Yeah, I don't think, we don't need to vote on it.
oh, we don't have to, okay.
We'll put it in the file. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, moving on. Reports and communications, student representative Ryan Link.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and all other school committee members. Girls lacrosse started off the season on a successful note, and that has continued so far into the season. Even though they don't have a senior on the team, their future does look pretty bright. Varsity softball team has its home opener, or had its home opener this Monday against Lawrence High School. The team is made up of 2 seniors, 7 sophomores, and 4 freshmen. They are motivated and working hard, and the Wildcats are very excited for the upcoming season. The varsity baseball team started off the spring season with a win over Greater Lawrence. The team lost their next 2 against 2 strong non-league teams in Amesbury and Georgetown. Team is young, but is working hard and looking forward to a successful season. The track and field team had their first home meet in over 2 years on the new track on April 7th against Greater Lowell. It was a challenging meet with Greater Lowell coming off a full indoor track season. However, there were several highlights in the meet from the Whittier teams. A sophomore broke the school's mile record, and another sophomore elevated to become the second best triple jumper all time from Whittier. Sophomores won respective events in the 100-meter dash and the 110 hurdles. The teams also had a strong showing for the boys discus and girls javelin throwers. They're looking forward to their next home meet on May 5th against Northeast. This week, they're off to Essex Tech, where their athletes will have their first opportunity to be timed on a laser timing system this season. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Chess Club continues to meet every Thursday. They're holding their second in-house chess tournament next. I'm gonna guess that means next school week, considering next week's April vacation.
Mhm.
This week, they're assisting the Environmental Club for Earth Day. The play that Drama Club held went well in March and April. Members are enjoying some current musical productions and sharing their opinions on them after viewing. The Poetry Club is preparing bags of poems to be handed out on Thursday, April 28th, as part of the National Put a Poem in Your Pocket Day. Bags of poems will be delivered to all English classes and shop areas with poems specifically related to the particular shop. Teachers will be asked to share the poems with their students. The poems are being printed on cardboard stock and are small enough to fit in a pocket. Environmental Club has planned an Earth Day trash cleanup, which is being held tomorrow. The Tower Garden and Poets Inn is set up and is currently growing mint, basil, lettuce, and Swiss chard. The club helped organize the carpentry department to make nesting boxes for eastern bluebirds and swallowtails for the Parker River Clean Water Association. And kids from Environmental Club have been invited to help clean up the Blanding Turtles nesting sites along the Parker River on April 23rd. Interact Club is sending out Easter cards to Baker Cats, the Oxford and Lakeview House in Haverhill. And they are planting a peace sunflower garden in May on Whittier Tech grounds. The location is to be determined. Journalism Club has been working in conjunction with Miss Parsons on stories for the April edition of the Wildcats magazine. Multicultural Club Student leaders will give a presentation and lead discussion on bystander intervention and ways that can assist those who are experiencing harassment and bullying in their presence. Robotics club students are learning to program in Arduino C and Python. Peer-to-peer club, they are helping Interact Club with the Easter cards. Key Club is about to finish Change Wars. That started on April 1st and it ends tomorrow. The class with the most points will win the money in their jar. The rest of the money will be donated to St. Paws Rescues in Groveland. There will be a final report when the money raised is counted for the next month's school committee meeting. In addition, members have once again begun to go out and provide service in the community. This past Monday, they had a few members help serve at community meals here in Haverhill. The 2020 yearbook is complete and has been sent to the printer. They expect delivery by May 26th in time for distribution to seniors before they graduate. The yearbook staff is now busy with photography for the 2023 yearbook. Student photographers have been busy going to the shops and photographing juniors. They will soon be going to spring sports events, photographing junior athletes in action for use in the 2023 book. Last but not least, Art Club continues to thrive. A few new members have joined and many of their regular members continue to enjoy working and socializing within their relaxed and creative environment. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, I won't,
Question?
just a minute.
Yep.
Ryan, awesome job
Thank you.
in your speech last week for the advisory board.
Yep, very good.
Terrific job. Terrific.
Any other questions for Ryan? Okay, moving on. Superintendent's report. Ms. Lynch.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Tonight before you, I have personnel hires for informational purposes for attendance makeup monitors, the evening school brochure for the fall 2020, spring coaches for the school year. I do have some resignations of a guidance officer aide and administrative assistant to the assistant principals. I have a few scholarship. I have one from the family of Jennifer Bell is donating $2,500 to benefit two graduating Whittier Tech high school students going on to secondary education from the DVC graphic shop.
Move the approval with gratitude.
Second, with gratitude.
Need a roll call vote for this. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes,
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I also have another scholarship that was just given to us late, and I apologize, but it was $1,000 from Applied Graphics Inc. in Amesbury to be awarded to an exceptional student with financial need who will be pursuing post-secondary training and will continue their trade.
Again, approve with thanks.
Second,
Okay. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Mrs. True,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
yes,
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
So the public hearing on the FY23 budget was held earlier this evening, and our budget books will be distributed to our cities and towns as soon as we can. MCAS update on March 22nd and 23rd, the sophomores took the English MCAS exam. Whittier will be running a math MCAS after school program to prepare students for the math MCAS exam. Sophomores will be taking that exam on May 17th and 18th. On Wednesday, March 16th, I had an interview with Wynn from WHAV. This is a monthly spot we have on WHAV radio. It's a good opportunity to share the happenings of Whittier Tech and the success of our students. On Thursday, March 17th, I attended a remote MVRTA Whittier Tech bus to discuss Whittier Tech helping out to build shelters, bus shelters. Paul Moskovich, our vocational coordinator, along with Representative Andy Vargas, was on the call. The meeting was to discuss if Whittier Tech can help build some bus shelters in the city of Haverhill, and that discussion is ongoing. On Wednesday, March 23rd, I attended the remote Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce Board meeting. On March 23rd, I attended the remote CCTE Working Group Spring Pilot Kickoff. We're in a pilot program with DESE on how to do tiered reviews differently. So that's been quite the experience, and hopefully we'll learn, and the process will be even smoother than it already is. On Thursday, March 24th, I attended the Massachusetts Police Chief Conference. I had the pleasure, along with Judy Klemkwitz from Massachusetts Youth Partnership, to give the Skidkenny Award to Police Chief David Scott from Pepperell for his work in school safety. On Thursday, March 31st, I attended the remote building women's leadership, building allyships with women leaders conference. On Thursday, April 7th, Whittier Tech hosted the General Advisory Board, and we just thanked our friend here, Ryan Link, for his speech. I want to thank school committee members that attended. We had a great advisory board meeting with myself and some school committee members. I want to thank everyone that attended. It was a great night. And it's even better that our friend here, Ryan Link, was our speaker. He did an amazing job.
Thank you.
On April 11th, we hosted a budget meeting with Groveland, West Newbury, Merrimack, and Amesbury town managers, along with Kara Cosmas. This is an opportunity for us to share information regarding our builder project and our budget for next year. And tomorrow we will have another breakfast meeting. I feel like I'm going to spend a lot of time in the Poets Inn the next few days. On Thursday, April 12th, I attended the remote school building meeting. I want to congratulate Charlie Labella for being the chairman of the school building committee. I also want to thank Brett Murphy and Dick Early for volunteering to help with choosing the architect with MSBA. So we have a lot of reading to do, it sounds like. Field trips. Lisa's pointing to me. I have a few field trips I would like to seek approval. I have, because they're out of state, I have on May 25th, our hospitality students and culinary students attending the Old Salt Restaurant in Lamey's Inn in Hampton. Want me to do them all at once?
Yeah, let's do more.
Okay. And then on June 1st, I have students attending the Old Salt, a different week in Lamey's Inn, and the tour of the inn and restaurants, a lesson on entrepreneurship, culinary arts, hospitality, and they'll have lunch. So that's exciting for them. And then I also have a, for the auto tech program, the New England Dragway in Epping, New Hampshire. And they are planning on going on June 3rd.
Last Friday. Ran my card out.
Move to approve each one.
Mr. Early,
We have the proper paperwork.
We will have the proper paperwork before
Thank
they
you.
head out.
all right, we have a motion and.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Okay. Any more questions or comments?
I just had a quick
Joanna?
question.
Yes.
I just wanted to know, so I understand the New England Dragway, that totally makes sense. Like, you know, the kids are they're gonna love it. The Lammy, so I was wondering, like, why this place in New Hampshire when Haverhill has other restaurants? Is it because you've kind of gone to all those places and now it's time to go someplace new?
I think they wanted to try a restaurant and hotel that are in the same building and that have a lot of tourism.
Yeah, and
So-
is independently owned versus a chain.
Right.
Right, got it. Thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call vote.
Yes.
Mr. Early, Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald. Yes. Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Ms. True,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Anything else?
Admissions update. Mrs. Morrison.
Admissions update, Director of Pupil Personnel, Christine Morrison. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the school committee, and Superintendent Lynch. I have shared with you the April admissions report in your packet. For the class of 2026, we processed 698 applications compared to 562 last year. This was an increase of 136 applications. We were able to continue our in-person tours with our middle schools, and we were able to hold our annual open house for 8th grade students. Last year, we were not able to do our typical recruitment, and this year we saw a robust increase in applications. We are thankful to our middle schools who welcomed us back for in-person interviews again this year, and the guidance office did an outstanding job at processing nearly 700 applications.
Excuse me.
We were able to accept 360 as students as of today. And and as of today, 262 students have committed to attend Whittier Tech in the fall.
Hmm.
Do I have any questions?
Have you already been in touch with them, or how do you know they've already committed?
So we have a process with our online system, and they were sent an email that they can respond directly to. So we've had that many.
So nobody has said no yet.
Very few. We've actually had 11 say no so far.
So 11 have said no.
Yes.
Okay, Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe it won't be 10%.
How long do they have to respond?
They have till May 1st. We've asked them to respond by then.
Thank you. Mr. LaBella.
Yeah. Number, first observation was that it seems to be a large jump from last year.
Yes.
Is that because of awareness or the ending of the COVID, you think?
I think there's probably a variety of different reasons. Partially maybe COVID.
And because I've been getting, not a lot, but several calls that my child is on the waiting list.
Yes.
And it seems because we've accepted more than the occupancy, right?
Yes.
That we're looking at that figure, correct me if I'm wrong, that through our normal attrition, right, we'll be down to where we are.
That's correct.
So basically, the people that are on the wait list probably not too much of an opportunity to come to Whittier.
And we're not sure at this point.
We're not sure.
We're not sure, but we don't typically have too many people say no
Right.
over the last couple of years.
And just a question, I noticed that under the choice, we received 65,
That's correct.
and that's, but those are just,
They're just sitting, waiting to be reviewed. We have our in-district students are at
Right.
capacity with them. Yes.
there's probably no chance for that.
No
Yeah.
chance.
But that's just a little housekeeping. That's supposed to say April 2022.
Oh, yes. Nice
All
job.
right.
See, that's why you're the math guy.
No, because I noticed maybe, because last year there was 0, then the end, but
That's
that was
correct.
because of COVID.
That's right.
Very, very interesting.
Mm.
So we're gonna have to build another building somewhere.
That's why you're the chairman of the building committee.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, and this
It's work.
this is only intuitive. Do you think this trend is going to continue?
I would say so. I think or at least maintain. Yes.
I think if I could say something.
Yeah.
Pentucket Middle School, they're building a brand new middle high school, so you might see a decrease from Pentucket. But right now, vocational education, there's a real need for the workforce. So I think a lot of people are seeing that and seeing that maybe college isn't for every child. And if they receive a trade, then, they can go right into the workforce with more training. I think it's not a fair thing to say that once you leave Whittier Tech, you don't have to receive any other training. I think you do need to receive more training, but you can go out into the workforce.
Right, if I may speak.
Yes,
My personal observation that over the last 3 or 4 years, based on the amount of students that graduate from Whittier, they actually have 2 degrees. They have the academic and then they have the vocational. And I noticed in some of the reports that the amount of students that have been going on to 2-year and 4-year accredited colleges, institutions, has gone up. So I think that, this is my opinion, that people are starting to realize that they're getting a solid vocational, but I also getting a really solid, academic, because, we've been passing the MCAS at 100% for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's kind of like, this is a bonus. I think years ago, and Dick would know, the academic from Whittier wasn't where it is today. So most we got, so now I think we're getting now, students that realize that if they go into the CNA, the nursing,
Mhm.
that if they want to go on to college and become a registered nurse, they also have that CNA certificate or certification. So, they've already in the field,
Mhm.
and while they're going to school, there's a big opportunity for them to get a good job. So,
Right.
so that's why I asked Christine, I think this is, even though things go slowly, the pandemic kind of put the squash, that, we're kind of in a catch-22 here.
Well, I also think, and I agree with you, but I also think that so many people were home and trying to get repairs done at home and finally realizing, and I'm sure
Everybody
Dick
know
knows
do
it, there's nobody to do it. I
Right.
mean, that they're priced out for a year at least. So I think families are finally beginning to realize that,
And, and to kind of, get on the piggyback on that, as we tour the various disciplines in the location, it's it's very high tech now.
oh, yeah,
So when I go, and then when I went into the electrical, they use the laptop computers to do circuitry. I don't know what's going on. Where before, they would use the multimedia, whatever.
right.
So the amount of training to go outside, to work in that environment, has been up.
Yeah.
So, especially down in the CAD room there, the robotics.
Unbelievable.
Christine, last year, how many, I don't know if you have this information, but how many freshmen did we end up with at the beginning of school?
Sure, Judy.
I believe that was what we accepted. I have that. But as far as that started the school year, is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Yes. I believe it was 336, close to 340.
Okay.
It was 343, right?
343,
Yeah, our October 1 report was 330 freshman students.
330.
330.
That's the October report.
Oh, you-
Mr. Early,
one more
Here's a question. Go ahead, Charlie, you're in charge.
Now, this is for the freshmen. Have we also received applications for, sophomore, junior, senior?
We have for sophomores and juniors, entering junior and senior.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Early.
Currently, what's the capacity of students here now? Roughly, I don't know what's the maximum capacity for students?
Really what we're at right now.
What
which
is that, 12?
1260. It's
12,
really
so-
what we shouldn't go. too
We're in
much
the
beyond that.
building mode right now, and what are we gonna do about another 150 above that approximately?
That's what we've agreed with MSBA.
But there's no way they'll let us go further, will they?
No.
I just wanted to know that. Thank you.
Any
Is
more questions?
I tried.
MSBA, is MSBA aware of the number of applicants we get every year versus the seats we offer?
Yes, I actually tried with MSBA when we were in the beginning stages of this to
They don't want to hear it.
set up a school so that we could accept every student that applied. And they told me no way. A lot of it is because the population of our district, school age population is going down. So many of the regional schools in our district have gone down significantly where our admissions numbers have gone up significantly. So
Okay.
it's a catch-22 a little bit.
Mhm.
Mr. Early.
Superintendent, I assume as we go forward with the building, we'll be looking at research from Merrimack Valley and also the state of Massachusetts, what jobs are in the area, what the need is, and therefore maybe sizes of classrooms or vocational square footage and so on. That will be going on, I assume, in the next couple of years.
That's ongoing now.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's
so we
our
have
point of
a,
our advisory boards and those meetings.
we have a heads up on what the needs are going to be in the next 10 or 15 years.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. James.
I just again echo what Christine said. When you have almost 700 kids applying, the guidance staff interviews every single one of those kids. That is a huge task, and they always do it so well. So please, let the guidance staff know that we understand how good they are.
Thank you, Mr. James. I will.
They are fantastic, but I want to throw out a shout out to a couple of other people that did interviews. One, Mr. Bradley, our athletic director, and Tia Roy, our community partnership
okay.
person.
Mhm.
Anyone else, Christine?
No, not for interviews. Oh, actually, yes, because we've added some of our equity and inclusion specialists to that piece. So that way we could have some Spanish speaking interpreters as well.
Okay.
Yes,
Good news,
That's good.
good news.
All right. Thank you very much, Christine.
thank you.
Principals report, Mr. Leganis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and rest of the school committee members. I have some more positive news here. Just to recap, the Winter Sports Awards night, we did have it, and it was a success. We had a little different format, which worked very well. Each team gathered in individual places around the school and had their own little private get-together. I just want to thank all the winter athletes, coaches, and the Booster Club for, again, putting all their hard work in just a fabulous winter, and it was nice to have that season go through. Spring sports, as you can see, they're off and running, and we are waiting for Mother Nature. It seems like Mother Nature's warming up to give us some warmer weather. As the warm weather comes here, I'm looking forward to getting out to our beautiful sports fields and watching the games. Thanks to all the athletes and coaches for their time and effort, and good luck this season. I just got a score here as we were walking in from the boys lacrosse. They beat Mystic Valley 11-3 in a beautiful night out here in that beautiful field. So I thank everybody. Congratulations goes out to all the students involved. If you were lucky enough to see the play Clue for practicing all those long hours, what a successful production. Thanks goes out to Sarah Anderson and Elaine Bucher for coordinating the event, and to all the staff members and students that contribute to the play, especially Mr. Sandlin's carpentry crew. So they made the backdrop, and it was just a beautiful set. Also, tomorrow, actually Thursday, March 17th, the Skills USA district qualifying test. We won 44 total medals. And then tomorrow, April 14th, we have 32 students and 4 advisors going to Skills USA leadership event championships in Marlboro. Is that correct, Mr. Link?
Yes.
Awesome. So also, a shout out goes out advisory board. Superintendent Lynch talked about, we had 2 just highlights, the 200 attendees, over 200 on that Thursday night. Culinary, beautiful night. Ryan was a superstar with his speech, and also just amazing first in-person night in 2 years for that advisory. So it was quite an event. And of course, the culinary knocked it out of the park as usual. Tomorrow, the Massachusetts Vocational Association and the Massachusetts Association of Vocational Administrators are hosting an event, and the Vocational Technical Student Awards ceremony in Worcester. So I'm going to head down there with a few guidance directors, the guidance director, a few other staff members, and we have Jade Banks. Jade Banks is from Haverhill. Whittier, obviously from Whittier, and after graduation, Jade hopes to attend St. A's and to obtain her bachelor's degree in business administration. She's a marketing student, if anybody is wondering. Also, school safety. Again, Mother Nature's coming out. We don't forget school safety, so we're going to continue the training during the winter months. We try to keep everybody indoors with the training, but hopefully we can get some, till the end of the year, get some more Alice training as we continue. Some senior event dates, just to pencil in, May 31st, senior sign out and prom. So that's our prom night. And then June 2nd is our graduation at 7 o'clock. And all those stats, all the senior event stats are out on my written report online on our website, if you're interested. And still the last day of school is June 16th for students. So we're flying along here. So thank you.
Any questions from Mr. Leganis? Mr. LaBelle?
Yes. The new all-purpose athletic field that made it through the winter.
It sure did.
good shape, and but with the rain in so far, I know that at the beginning, there was some issues with the drainage system that worked properly, so.
Yeah, so yeah, no issues, knock on wood, no issues up to date. It's absolutely stunning out there.
Good.
In the drainage and it just seemed like whenever there was snow, it just melted beautifully. So far, so good, knock on wood. Well, what a beautiful facility. Amazing. So we thank everybody involved, especially with the scoreboard, and we're using that. And it's just, I looked at the lacrosse game coming in here. It was just a beautiful night. So we appreciate it.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Business Manager Kara Cosmas.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, members of the committee. A couple of things for you. In your packet is the variance report. And believe it or not, we are more than 3/4 of the way through the fiscal year. So the report that you have is from July through March. And at this point in time, we continue to be on track financially. And as we get closer to the end of the year, any differences in the balances of the budget accounts, as you know, as I've done in the past several years, I'll be bringing transfers to you to request movement so that we can align the accounts at year end. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on the report.
Mr. LaBella.
Yeah. First, I want to say that this is one of my favorite reports. Give me something to do, so I don't have to watch Judge Judy. And I think everything seems to be in line. I only have 3 quick questions. On page 3, of the general cleaning contract,
Yes,
that's because of the extra.
yes, that's because we added more day porters to keep things clean, and we are planning to move some of that extra expense into the ESSER 2 grant. I believe Dr. Fay made an amendment, and we'll be moving some of that over there.
So you anticipate it's continue to the end of the year?
I think so. It's a discussion that we continually have with the superintendent, and we feel that it has kept us here and kept us in good stead. So it's been money well spent.
And, number 2, I noticed that under building improvements, there was 0 in the budget. But
Yeah. That is a new intercom system that we have put in for safety reasons, obviously. So again, at the end of the year, when there are available balances and other accounts, I'll put it there. I wanted to identify it because it's really not a repair, it's an improvement, and I really need to code it that way.
And then I noticed this one more quick one. I know you have the answer. On page 6, on the replacement of equipment,
Mhm.
it was budgeted for about 100,000. We've only used 8. Are there plans to continue that?
We have, you know why that is low? Because last year we had additional funds at the end of the year because we were on a hybrid model. And so we pre-purchased a lot of the things that we would have bought this year, we bought before last year ended. So we'll look at that again if we have funds, and if there are pieces of equipment that are due to be purchased next year, we'll take care of them at the end of this year if we can.
So you're confident that?
Yes.
we can move this money out now?
I'm confident, pretty confident that we're where we really addressed a lot of the 5-year capital plan at the end of last year.
Very, very good report.
Thank you.
Kara, when do we get the auditors? It's been a while.
The auditors will either come in person or present a report, usually in May. They're finishing up.
Okay.
The holdup for the audit is because we are part of the City of Haverhill retirement system.
Yeah.
We have to wait until their review of their retirement system is done in order to assess the balance sheet amounts that we have to have on our balance sheet. So the audit was completed maybe a month or 2 ago, but we have to wait for that last component.
Oh, okay.
So I expect that he'll have a report ready next month.
Thought it was around then.
Is this the last year of their contract?
I honestly don't know. I'll have to look. I think we had an extension on it. I'm not sure.
Anyone else? Question? Thank you.
Okay, the last thing I'd like to tell you about is a fun event. As most of you know or will learn, in 2016, we developed the Whittier Tech Educational Foundation. It is a 501c nonprofit. It is a separate entity from the school, and it is a venue through which we raise funds in order to provide assistance to our students, either at holiday times when they struggle with being able to buy tools or work boots. And we give, I think last year we gave 19 scholarships through the foundation. And so this year we are having another Derby event. Last year we had one, it was all virtual, but this year we are able to do it in person. It's called Derby and Dessert. It will be at the Renaissance Golf Club on Derby Day from about 5:30 to 7:30. You have a chance to win $5,000 if you attend the event, but you do not have to attend. The desserts will be made by Culinary. I've seen the listing of the desserts they're going to make. So if you thought this was wonderful tonight, you need to come and see what kind of desserts they're going to prepare. We're going to have a coffee bar, and it's a great night for people to get decked out in their finery. And so I have flyers here with me. If anybody would like one, you can purchase tickets by going online through our website, and there's a link, direct link to the foundation. So I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that maybe some of you might want to join us and get decked out in Derby attire. And that is all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May annual agenda items. Appointment of subcommittees. If anybody, can you get me a list of who, the list that we have? If anybody wants to move around or needs a spot, if you can let me know before the next meeting, that'd be great. The school calendar will be coming out. Superintendent's evaluation. And the new student representative to the school committee. You're going to introduce him, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. Him or her.
Yes, him or her.
Subcommittee reports, executive. We have not met. I don't know. We don't need a meeting anytime soon. Instructional personnel, Dr. Testaverde.
We haven't met and I'm not aware of any need at this time.
Okay, thank you. Plan operations. Was there plan operations coming up? Meeting? May 11th, okay. Salary negotiations, Mr. Early.
At this time, we do have some problems we have to talk about soon.
Right,
Okay.
and the administrative team has asked for us to negotiate, so
Mhm.
we might want to set something up in May.
All right,
Do you want to set that date now or?
Sure.
it doesn't matter to me.
I'm just not sure about my calendar.
Okay, all right, you can let us know.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. All right. Policy, Mr. Irving.
Mr. Chairman, we have not met, but we have scheduled a meeting in May 11th at 5:45. I'm just speaking to the superintendent earlier. We're not sure if there's going to be that much of a need, so I'd like to put that off to 6 o'clock. And then we'll just do a quick update or election, or you can let us know what's going on
Yeah, we have a plan operations at 6.
at 6.
Yeah,
Well, we'll leave it at 5:45 then.
Okay.
And let us know if there's anything, if you could send that out ahead of time, if there are any updates.
if not, we can just cancel.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So meeting dates, we get the regular school committee meeting at
May 11th.
May 11th at 6:30. We have the plan operations, May 11th at 6 and policy at 5:45. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. There is no new business posted. I need a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the position of the committee, and upon completion of the executive session will adjourn. So we need a roll call vote. No. Okay, we just need a motion.
Your motion.
motion to go into executive session.
Second,
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. LaBella,
Yes.
Mr. James.
yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Fitzgerald,
Yes.
Mr. Haviland,
Yes.
Mrs. Troop,
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor,
Yes.
Dr. Testaverde.
Yes.
Okay.